So we got to find out if we ready? Okay. So we got to find out if we, as the body, if we are partaking in this wine. So again, what does it mean to be confused?
Confused as an adjective, it says of a person unable to think clearly.
Unable to do what?
Think clearly.
Unable to think clearly. Read.
Bewildered. Let me see.
It's just a screenshot. So when you are drunk, another word is to be intoxicated. What does it mean to be intoxicated? Drunk. Read these right here.
Similar words are demented, bewildered, or muddled. It says showing bewilderment. A confused expression crossed her face. Or let's give an example. It says not in possession of all one's mental faculties, especially because of old age.
So, to be confused from something. So, Babylon's strength is to confuse you into something. Right? Let's get Revelation 17, verse 4.
Revelation 17, verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls.
Jump back to verse 3.
Verse 3. So he carried me away in the Ruach into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast.
You saw what?
A woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast.
So we have a woman here, and we have a beast. When you think of law, what comes to your mind when you hear a woman and a beast? Nothing comes to mind? Exactly. Get me Leviticus 18:23. Leviticus 18:23. So we have a woman riding a beast.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 23. Neither shall you lie with any beast to defile yourself therein. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereunto.
It is what?
It is confusion.
It is what?
It is confusion.
It is confusion. So right here we have, off the rip, we have this woman riding a beast. We know what's in the cup. It says full of fornication. So we know that it's fornication between the woman and this beast. But it calls it what right here?
Confusion.
It calls it confusion. So Babylon is causing confusion. It has a drink in its hand, and this drink causes the world and everybody that partakes in it to be drunk. And when you get drunk, your senses go off. You are confused. Now we got to figure out how did this woman get this wine to the people. How she brings it out. She's a bartender. And she serves everybody. And she forces you to drink the wine. We got to find out how she do it. Get me Daniel chapter 1. Daniel chapter 1 and 1.
Daniel 1 and 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem, and besieged it. And Yahuwah gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house of Elohim, which he carried into the land of Shinar to the house of his Elohim. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his Elohim. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of the eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish.
What?
Whom was no blemish.
So it's got the best. It says, the children of whom there is no blemish. This is the best of the best. Read.
But well favored.
But what?
But well favored.
Read.
And skillful in all wisdom.
So they skillful in all wisdom. This means they are smart. They at the top of their class. Read.
And cunning in knowledge.
What?
Cunning in knowledge.
So he got great understanding and knowledge. Read.
And understanding science.
And what?
And understanding science.
So these children understand science. They've well favored in it. Read.
And such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning in the tongue of the Chaldeans.
Whom they might what?
Teach the learning in the tongue of the Chaldeans.
So if you get the very best of the children from Babylon, from Jerusalem, Yah's people, the brightest, the best ones, and then you teach them your way, what will you actually be doing? What is it? Confusing them. But what's the purpose of getting the biggest and the brightest students or people to learn your way? Why not everybody? Remember, it's talking specifically about the best ones. Why them and not everybody else? Say it again. Everybody else gonna follow them. Now, read the next verse.
Verse 5. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine.
Of the what?
Of the wine.
So, Nebuchadnezzar is giving them wine. Why is he giving these children wine? It's easy to do what? When you're not in your right what? When you're not in your right mind. So if I can get Daniel and the rest of them to drink this wine, it's going to be much easier for me to give it to him. And then what he going to do with it? He going to take it to everybody else. I want y'all to see that this is not about religion right here. The reason why they get this Babylon wine thing wrong, because you just equate it to religion, and it's way more than that. Read on.
And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years.
How long?
3 years.
3 years. So they have a 3-year course that they got them doing these things and drinking this wine. What does this sound like to y'all? What does it sound like? This sound like college. So Daniel is going to college on a guaranteed scholarship. He don't have to pay for nothing. He get free food. He get the best food. Now, when you get off to college, what does the typical child normally do when you get to college? You party. And what's the root of it? They take a giant barrel and everybody brings in all types of liquor in it. And everybody pours it in. Jack Daniels, Crown Royal, vodka, Everclear, E&J, Cisco, Old English, Hennessy, everything that you can think of, they pour it into this thing, and then they get the sweet wine, and they get the white liquor, they get the Belvedere, and they get the Ciroc and the Kettle One, and they pour it all into this thing, and then they get bags of Skittles, and they pour it in there, and they get Jolly Ranchers, and they drop it in there, and they pour all of this stuff in there, and they mix it all together. And everybody comes in. And once you drink this wine, what happens to the people who drink this wine? You lose your mind. You forget all your morals that your family has taught you to do. This is what this is working on. You forget everything that you've been taught as a child. It all goes out the window. You lose your inhibition. So the stuff that you normally wouldn't do, you're going to do it now. This is what he is trying to cause with Daniel and his brothers. This is what he's trying to cause with them. A free scholarship. They're going to come out and they're going to teach against what they know, and they're going to mix it up and give it to everybody. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3.
2 Corinthians 11 and 3. But I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve.
As he did what?
As the serpent beguiled Eve.
Read.
Through his subtlety.
Through his what?
Through his subtlety.
Read.
So your mind should be corrupted from simplicity.
From the what?
From the simplicity.
From the simplicity of what?
That is in Hamashiach.
So everything with Mashiach is really simple. Nothing that causes you to be confused. He says, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, that I don't want you to get tricked from the simplicity of Mashiach. So everything Mashiach does is very simple. The only reason why you can't understand it, because you got the other wine. We got to still figure out exactly what it is. Get me Proverbs 31. In verse 1.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 1. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him.
Another name for Solomon. Read.
What, my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows? Give not your strength unto women.
Do what?
Give not your strength unto women.
Give not your strength unto who?
Unto women.
Unto women. So she's giving him a prophetic message. Don't give your strength to women. Who's holding the wine in the book of Revelation?
The whore.
It's a woman in there, right? Keep that in mind. Read.
Nor your ways to that which destroy kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine.
It is not for what?
Not for kings to drink wine.
He says it's not for kings to drink wine. Why not? Read.
Nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and they forget the law.
And they do what?
Forget the law.
Wow. So the reason it's trying to get you drunk is so you can forget something. The most important thing is law. Read it again.
Lest they drink and forget the law, and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted.
And do what?
Pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted.
Now, how would they pervert the judgment? Because you have forgot the law. You're drinking and you have forgot the law. Your discernment is off. Your discernment is skewed. So he telling him right here, don't give his strength to women and don't drink wine. Because if you drink this wine, it's going to make you forget Yah's law and make you pervert his judgment. What is Babylon again? By doing what? By mixing. It's to confuse you, right? So Babylon's strength is to confuse you. It makes your mind warped that you can't understand the simplest thing. The easiest stuff in the world, you will not understand it when you get this wine into you. Get me Genesis chapter 3, verse 1.
Genesis 3 and verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahuwah Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, yeah, have Elohim said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of every tree, eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die.
Plain and simple. Is that difficult? Not difficult at all, right? Straightforward. Don't eat from the tree. If you eat, you're going to do what? You're going to die. Read.
And the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die.
You shall what?
You shall not surely die.
What is he bringing to Eve right now? He got something in the cup. He got the wine. He got the wine right now in the cup. Read.
For Elohim do know that in the day that you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and you should be as Elohim, knowing good and evil.
So he told a little bit of the truth. He says, in the day that you eat thereof, your eyes shall be open. That's the truth. Where's the lie, though? When he said, you will not surely die, that's the lie. You just mixed the truth. You just gave her the drink. Eve is now confused. Read.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat.
She did what?
And did eat.
So before she ate it and she had to look at it, she was confused. Which one of them telling me the truth? Is Yah trying to hold me back, or is he trying to kill me? We can see the choice that she made. He just brought confusion to them. And because of this, they have stumbled out of Yah's path, and now you got to get out. Now you got to die because you lost the simplicity of Mashiach. So she believed the shining one. Now again, remember, if Daniel goes with this plan, what is Daniel tasked to do when he learned this stuff? To do what? He's going to go and teach the rest of the people what he is now learning. Matthew chapter 15, verse 14.
Book of Matthew, chapter 15 and verse 14. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind.
They be what?
They be blind leaders of the blind.
Are they really blind, or is this a spiritual blindness? This is a spiritual blindness. He says, let them alone. Read.
And if the blind lead the blind.
If the what?
If the blind lead the blind.
If the spiritually blind lead the spiritually blind, what?
Both shall fall into the ditch.
Both shall fall into what?
Into the ditch.
What is the ditch? What is the ditch? So if this is a spiritual blindness, he says, if the spiritual blind lead the spiritual blind, they shall both fall into a ditch. We need to know what the ditch is, right? What is the ditch? What's a spiritual ditch? Let's see. Proverbs 23, verse 27.
Proverbs 23:27. For a whore is a deep ditch.
She's what?
Is a deep ditch.
So it says a whore is a deep ditch. So when Mashiach says, when the blind lead the blind, they both shall fall into a ditch, he was talking about they're going to fall into a what? A whore. Who was that in Revelation again, holding that cup? It's a whore over there. All these things got to add up. They all got to link in. So this is what he actually saying, that you're going to fall into this whore if you get drunk and follow these things. You're going to end up in there. Now, it is two women in the scriptures. Two women. We have Jerusalem that's compared to a woman, and we have Babylon. And they are both compared to women, right? Now, when you get a bunch of women in a room, what you normally get? You normally get some kind of confusion going on in there. Well, there's one woman, she has daughters. She has daughters. And again, everything is to confuse you. So when you have a man that start to take on a woman's characteristics, or a woman take on a man's characteristics, what is that? It's confusion, right? It don't look right. What are they doing now in the world right now? They telling that it's okay to do this, and they got programs that they're saying if a child that's 5 years old say, I'm a girl, then they'll give them the surgery and they'll make it free. When they're letting a child make this decision. Get me Daniel chapter 1, verse 3.
Book of Daniel chapter 1 and verse 3. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of the eunuch.
The master of what?
The master of his eunuchs.
The master of what?
Of his eunuch.
What's a eunuch? So this is a man that's had a surgery. So what they are doing now, it's the same thing they were doing then. They did it to Daniel. The difference is Daniel didn't choose this. They forced it on Daniel. But now they're making, the wine makes a child say, I want to do it myself. Y'all see that? It's the same thing. The wine is making little boys go and do this voluntarily. They did this to Daniel against his permission, against his will. It's the same thing. It's confusion. They took Daniel's manhood. Now they are making boys give it up on their own. Now again, what's the difference between the two women? The Babylon woman and the Jerusalem woman. What's the difference between the two women? He loves, definitely that. But let's see. Get me Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2. Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2.
Jeremiah 6 and 2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman.
What kind of woman?
A comely and delicate woman.
I want y'all sisters to be real with yourself. Do you see yourself as this, as a comely, Forget the comely part. Beauty is in the eye of what?
Beholder.
Do you see yourself as delicate? Not a trick question. Read that again.
I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman.
To a comely and a delicate woman. Look up the definition for delicate. Yeah.
It says it is a nog, or I believe a nag, to be soft.
A nag? It didn't say a nag, did it?
A nag.
Oh, I know that it didn't say that.
A nog. It says to be soft.
To be what?
To be soft.
To be soft. Read.
To be delicate. To be dainty. Let me see. It says to be soft or pliable. That is figuratively effeminate or luxurious. Delicate. Delight.
Delicate. Soft. Soft spoken. Let's expand on this. So this is what it says, that this woman is like this. Let's get some other characteristics to go with it so we can fill this person out or this woman out so we can see exactly what it means. 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 9.
First Timothy chapter 2 and verse 9. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel.
In what?
In modest apparel.
So this woman is calmly, delicate, and she dresses how?
In modest apparel.
Modest apparel, read.
With shamefacedness.
With what?
Shamefacedness.
What does that mean, shamefaced? She's bashful. She's not outwardly loud and boisterous. Now, I'm asking y'all, do y'all see yourselves as this calm and delicate woman? Answer it within yourself. So it's two women. One is like this, is very delicate. Shamefacedness means she'll be ashamed of something that she's doing. Now, let's look at the other woman. Revelation 14 and 9. So we can see the compare and contrast between the two women. Revelation 14:9.
Revelation 14:9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same.
My bad, get verse 8.
Verse 8. And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen.
Babylon is what?
Is fallen. Is fallen. The great city. Because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
She did what?
Made all nations to drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
So this woman here is a bartender, and she's a forceful one. She forces you to drink the drink, right? It don't say that she asked them to drink. It says she made them drink of the wine. So, sisters, let me tell y'all something. When you were going out in your days, when a man was buying you drinks, did you take that as a compliment? If you did, you shouldn't. He was buying you drinks for a specific reason. Why do you think he's buying you drinks? He was going to skew your senses. Y'all know why. This woman here is doing this. This is an aggressive woman. She brings the drinks. She's forcing you to drink. Read that verse again, Art. Verse 8.
And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
She made all nations. So Babylon is a place, but she has spread her wine everywhere. It is a physical place, but she has took the wine and spread it everywhere. So it ain't in just one place. It's everywhere. Revelation 17, verse 3.
Revelation 17 and verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple.
She was what?
The woman was arrayed in purple.
Read.
And scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls.
So you see the difference between the two women? The one is soft and delicate and shamefaced and modest. This one is very flashy and outward. And it's coming with drinks. She brings the drinks everywhere she go. So she's beautiful, flashy, and she keeps drinks with her. Read.
Decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand.
Having what?
A golden cup in her hand.
So everywhere she goes, she has this golden cup in her hand with this wine in it. Do men normally choose the good, righteous girl or the raggedy, raunchy one? Wait a minute. Why? What would make you do that? Something ain't right. You confused. You don't, your senses is off. Because this don't make sense. This delicate, nice one, oh no. You go for this one. So we see she got the drink. She's really flashy. She's the life of the party. Everybody know her. And this the one that you choose. Don't make sense. Something is off with the thought process. Let's see a little bit more how she is. Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 5.
The book of Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 5. That they may keep thee from the strange woman.
From what woman?
From the strange woman.
So it's something that's trying to keep you from that strange woman, from that woman with that cup in her hand that's dressed in and all of these precious stones and purple and all this stuff is trying to keep you from her. Read.
From the stranger which flatter with her words.
Which do what?
Which flatter with her words.
Oh, you so handsome. Wow, nobody's never told me that. She's getting you. This is the wine. Read.
For at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and beheld among the simple ones, I discerned among the youths a young man void of understanding.
He's what?
Void of understanding.
Why is he void of understanding? He told us it is not for kings to drink wines, because if you drink this wine, it's going to cause you to do what? It's going to cause you to forget his law. So this young man is went out in this street, and now he is void of understanding. Read.
Passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house. In the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night.
Nobody will know. Nobody will see me. It's dark. Y'all see it. Read.
And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of a harlot.
With what?
With the attire of a harlot.
So this ain't the delicate one. This is the one that's dressed like a harlot. Read.
And subtle of heart.
And what?
And subtle of heart.
This the same thing he said about the serpent, right? Read.
She is loud and stubborn.
She is what?
She is loud and stubborn.
She is what?
Loud and stubborn.
So the other one is delicate and quiet and meek, but this one is loud and stubborn. Which one of these women do y'all more identify with? I want you to look in the mirror and be real with yourself. So you don't got to be to the extreme one at the gas station loud, girl. But we know what it's talking about. This woman is not shamefaced at all. She wants to be seen. Read on.
She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house.
She can't sit down somewhere. I got to go. Girl, I'm bored. Let's go. Let's get. If you see it, start making the change. Because this woman is bad. She's going to get burned up at the end. Very, very bad. So if you see this woman is aggressive. Even though this is confusion because she's a female, but she's masculine at the same time. She both masculine and feminine. This is confusion at the same time. She's dominating things. Read on.
Now is she without, now in the streets, and lie in wait at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him.
And did what?
And kissed him.
Read.
And with an impudent face.
With what kind of face?
An impudent face.
Look that word impudent mean. What does that mean?
Impudent is H5810 Azaz. It says to be strong.
To be what?
To be strong.
So when you think of a strong jawline, that a man come to mind, right? But she got it. So again, this woman is both masculine and feminine at the same time. She's taking over stuff. She brings the drink. She's trying to get you drunk. This don't go. But this is Babylon for you. This is confusion. Everything that she's doing, but it's very slick and it's very, very subtle. Can y'all think of a woman in the scripture that fits this, what we just read? Can y'all think of somebody in the scriptures that fits what we just read? What you got out? Who? Jezebel. Let's see. 2 Kings 22. Second Kings 22 and verse 1.
2 Kings 22 and 1. Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 31 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jedidiah, the daughter of Adiah of Boskath. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yahuwah.
Hold on, I might be in the wrong spot. Going in the Jezebel joint. It might be 2 Kings 18. Hold on. One moment, one moment. It's Jezebel bought the farm. One moment, I got to find that. First Kings. First Kings. Try that. First Kings. What is it? It's the farm. Which one you say, Snyder? First King 18. Yeah. It's before that. It's about the Naboth with the farm. First Kings 21. First Kings 21 and 1.
1 Kings 21 and 1. And it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard which was in Jezreel.
He had a what?
A vineyard that was in Jezreel, hard by the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. And Ahab spake unto Naboth, saying, Give me the vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house, and I will give thee for it a better vineyard than it. Or if it seem good to you, I will give you the worth of it in money. And Naboth said unto Ahab, Yahuwah forbid it to me, that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto you. And Ahab came into his house heavy and displeased because of the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him.
Read.
For he had said, I will not give you the inheritance of my fathers. And he laid him down upon his bed and turned away his face and would eat no bread.
He did what?
Turned his face and would eat no bread.
So since he can't get this farm, this man gets in the bed and go to sleep. What kind of man does this sound like? This is the lamest. But he the king, right? So he can't get his way, and he goes and take a nap. Read.
But Jezebel his wife came to him and said unto him, Why is your spirit so sad?
What's wrong with you, boy?
That you eat no bread.
Why you ain't eating? I cook pork chops for you. Get up from there, boy.
And he said unto her, Because I spake unto Naboth the Jezreelite.
Because I wanted his farm. Read.
And said unto him, Give me your vineyard for money, or else.
I want to buy it. The king normally just come and take it, right? He wants to buy it. This is actually like a noble thing. He want to buy it. Read.
Or else, if it please you, I will give you another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give you my vineyard. And Jezebel his wife said unto him, Do you now govern the kingdom of Israel?
Aren't you the king of Israel? Read.
Arise and eat bread.
Do what?
Arise and eat bread.
Get up and go in there, eat what I fixed you. Read.
And let your heart be merry. I will give you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite.
Wait a minute. Who gonna get it for him?
I will give you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite.
She didn't tell him how to get it. She says, I'm gonna get the vineyard for you. What is Jezebel doing? She taking over. Read.
So she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal, and sent the letters unto the elders and to the nobles that was in the city, dwelling with Naboth. And she wrote in the letters, saying, Proclaim a fast, and set Naboth on high among the people. And set 2 men, sons of Belial, before him, to bear witness against him, saying, You did blaspheme Elohim of the king, and then carry him out and stone him that he may die.
Now, who's really the king of Israel right here? Even though Ahab is it in name, Jezebel is actually the one calling the shots. She actually the king of Israel right here because she is the one that's calling the shots. She is the one that's getting people murdered. She the one behind the scenes doing it. But Ahab's name is on it. For all intensive purposes, she is the king right now. She is the one that's calling the shots and making these things happen. She is the one that's issuing out the wine and making people wander out of the way of Yah. So how are you supposed to get to the kingdom? How are you supposed to walk? To what? The straight and narrow. I want y'all to say it because y'all know it, but y'all, I don't want to say it, I'm going to be wrong. Y'all know it. I want you to say it. The straight and narrow. He says, don't turn to the left hand and don't turn to the right. You're supposed to walk straight and narrow. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 13.
Matthew chapter 7 and verse 13. Enter you in at the straight gate, for the wide is the gate, and broad is the way that lead to destruction, and many there be which go in.
Go ahead.
Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which lead into life, and few there be that find it.
That do what?
Few there be that find it.
So it's going to be few that find this narrow path. So you're supposed to walk basically tight roping. But what if you were drunk on the tightrope? You ain't going to make it. You're going to wander right away. So when John was looking at the whore in Revelation, what did they say he was doing after it? He was marveling. He was wondering after it. What he was seeing was so spectacular but so evil at the same time. It just don't add up. These things don't go together. He knows Yah and his laws, and it still had him in confusion. He's looking at, I can't believe what I'm seeing. So once you get drunk, you're going to wander right out of the way. This is why we're going from the physical drunkenness to the spiritual. So when in college, they get you spiritually and physically drunk. But you don't think that this has nothing to do with religion. So when you get into the college, what does the biggest and the brightest normally do when they get there, besides the drinking part? They join a what? A sorority, some type of fraternity. And now you have gotten into the worship part of it, which is the Greek goddess and all of this stuff, but really not Greek goddess. It's really Babylonian, because all of it really still come back from there. So now the people that's in the fraternities and sororities, they don't think they doing nothing that got nothing to do with religion. But it's there. You're doing it. And to make it like it's more than what it is, you're going to have to humiliate yourself to get in. So what I'm going to need you to do is He said, go get a thing this big of manuka and honey, strip your clothes off, pour it all over yourself, and run through the woods blindfolded. When you complete this task, you are one of us. Does this sound like something that you would do? Why is it that millions of people have done it? Millions of people have done this stuff and did this. And they are part of the brotherhood. So now they take pictures and they do the hand signs and the women do the I'm a part of something. You drinking the wine and you don't even know it. And the men, we gonna walk around like beasts. We barking like dogs all around the campus. What? But you want to be a part of this for nothing, and they showing you that you a beast right into your face. And they got you doing this stuff. But they'll have no idea that you worshiping false gods when you're doing this. It's very, very clever how the wine gets out there. So again, think about the college thing. It's the wine. Everybody's doing it. Nobody's going to know about it. None of my family ain't here to see me doing none of these things. I can do this and nobody will ever know. Right? So remember when Moses killed the guy, it said Moses did what? He looked this way and he looked that way. And he noticed nobody was there to see him do it. What did Moses do wrong in this passage? He didn't look up. Because if he'd have looked up, oh, no man don't see me, but he see me. Even though Daniel was in this place by himself with nobody to see him, but the other people that's participating in it, Daniel said, I ain't doing that. I don't want the wine and I don't want the food because it's going to defile me. So when the book says, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, what does that mean? So back in 2009, we believed that this meant going and buying a plane ticket and traveling and getting out of the country. And we thought that was escaping from Babylon, right? Daniel is in Babylon. But do Daniel participate in what they're doing? No. This is when it says you are in it, but you're not of it. So even though Daniel is physically there, he not participating in anything that they doing. He didn't drink the wine. He didn't participate in the rituals. He didn't do none of it. He didn't pledge Alpha Psi Chi Y Mai. He didn't do none of it. He stayed loyal with Yah. Therefore, Daniel is not under the confusion that everybody else is under. Him and his boys that came with him, they not a part of it. So back in the physical, when you're drinking from at these parties, a woman will get pregnant. But she was in there with a bunch of people. And the next day, or a month later, and she started throwing up in the morning. Oh, God, what's wrong with me? Oh, my stomach. She done got pregnant. But the problem is, she was on that wine. She don't know by who. That's kind of a problem, right? So she'll be confused and she'll go on the Maury show. And she'll take somebody up there, the one that she thinks is the cutest, the one that she thinks has the best hair, and the one that she thinks has the prettiest eyes. And she'll say, it's him. Devontae Martell Contavious, he the father. And she'll put him on the show, and she'll say, you know you that baby daddy. Look, you got the same ears and the same eyes as him. And the whole crowd is booing the man. Boo! They don't even give him a chance. That is your baby. That is your baby. And then when they sit there and they go through the stuff, you know getting well you got me pregnant. I don't know about none of that, man. She was with a whole bunch of us. And then they finally do the drama and they get down to it. Okay. When it comes down to 8-month-old Devontae Martell Contavious Victor, you are not the father. Ah! Come back here. Stop. Come back here. And the cameraman is not going to let you get away. Come. You got anything you want to say? No, she's running away from it. I don't want to talk. I don't want to be in front no more. And then she go through it. This her 12th time on the show. You done brought another man up here to accuse him, and he ain't the father. This is confusion. That book says, be ye sober, because your adversary as a roaring lion seeks whom he may devour. So we got to stay away from both wines if we don't know how to drink and make this easy, because nobody wants a baby by the double H, the hood huzzy. Right? Nobody wants. He got her pregnant. Oh my. Nobody don't want that. But when you get under the wine, it's going to happen to you. You open yourself up to it. Again, the spirit is a masculine, feminine, aggressive spirit. Genesis 19:32. It's masculine and feminine at the same time.
Genesis 19:32. Come, let us make our fathers drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in, and lie with him.
2 nights in a row, Lot is blasted. 2 nights in a row from this wine. This got to be that college wine. This got to be all of this stuff combined to be this strong, to put him all the way out. Read.
That we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. This same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger she also bare a son, and called his name Ben-Ami.
Call him what?
Ben-Ami.
Read.
The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day.
So now when they going around and she got little Moab and little Ammon with her, and people say, oh, look at little coochie, look at little Moab and Ammon. Where they daddy at? And she say, my daddy, his daddy. What does this cause these people's faces to show? Confusion. His daughters was already on the wine that made them do this in the first place. Your senses are skewed. It make you do the most stupidest stuff ever, and you don't know the difference between this. So they are already on the wine. And this is confusion. Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 12.
Leviticus 20 and 12. And if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion. Their blood shall be upon them.
So even if it's your daughter-in-law, but this is your daughter, so we know that this is confusion. But when you are drunk, your senses are skewed. So when you are driving drunk, how does the police know that you're drunk? You swerving. You can't keep the car straight. In order to get to the kingdom, you got to walk the straight and narrow path. But when you drunk, you can't go straight. You can't do it. So what do they give you when they pull you over? They give you a sobriety test, and they make you do something, the simplest stuff in the world. I want you to walk a straight line. Toe, heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe. And walk this line. And for some reason, the people can't do this simple task no more. You drunk. Your senses is off. They are skewed. So when Lot's daughters is doing this, their senses is off. They are skewed. They're doing the unthinkable. They don't understand that this is completely wrong because they are drunk. Revelation 17:4 again.
Revelation 17 and 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations.
Full of what?
Full of abominations.
So in her hand is this golden cup, and it's full of abominations. Read.
And filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints.
She what?
She was drunken with the blood of the saints.
So she's drunk as well as making everybody else drunk. Read.
And with the blood of the martyrs of Yeshua. And when I saw her, I wondered with a great admiration.
He did what?
I wondered with great admiration.
So he's wondering. And once you start to wonder, it makes you wander. What's the difference between wonder and wander? Wonder is you're in amazement at something. But when you start to wander, you're going off the path, but you don't necessarily know that you off of it because it's a subtle straying away. All of a sudden, you just notice, dang, I thought I was on Orange Line, but I'm on Elmira. Because you just slowly did it. You didn't end all the way down here. You slowly doing it. And this is what it's causing you to do. It's causing you to slowly wander away from Yah. And you don't know it. It's again, masculine, feminine spirit all in one. 1 Kings 21 again. Pick it up at verse 7.
1 Kings 21:7. And Jezebel his wife said unto him, Do you now govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise and eat bread, and let your heart be merry. I will give you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. So she wrote letters in Ahab's name, and sealed them with his seal, and sent the letters unto the elders, to the nobles, and to the elders and to the nobles that were in his city, dwelling with Naboth. And she wrote in the letters, saying, Proclaim a fast, and set Naboth on high among the people, and set 2 men, sons of Belial, before him, to bear witness against him, saying, You did blaspheme Elohim of the king, and then carry him out and stone him that he may die. And the men of his the men of his city, even the elders and the nobles who were the inhabitants in the city, did as Jezebel had sent unto them.
They did what?
Did as Jezebel had sent unto them.
So again, a manly spirit, but we know she's feminine at the same time because she's controlling men and getting them under her grasp. But she is the king right now. She is the one that's calling the shots and making these things happen. 1 Kings 18, verse 19. Yep.
1 Kings 18 and 19. Now therefore send and gather to me all Israel unto Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of the groves 400, which eat at Jezebel's table.
Which do what?
Eat at Jezebel's table.
So all of these men, she's in control of all of them. They're eating at her table. Not Ahab's table. They're eating at her table. She is the one controlling all of these prophets to do these things that they're doing. Revelation 18, verse 2.
Revelation 18 and 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen.
It is what?
Is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit.
The hold of what?
Every foul spirit.
It says she's become the hold of every foul spirit. What is alcohol called?
Spirit.
Spirits. Again, this is this college drink. Everything is in it. Read.
And a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
All the nations did what?
Drank of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
So Babylon is a physical place, but it has spread its wine everywhere. This woman has forced her wine on everybody to drink it. She has the whole world drunk and in confusion. Nate, can them videos play or no? Play these. I'm gonna show you the wine at work. So we're going to show you the wine at work, how it's working again, how your senses with the easiest stuff in the world that you can't answer it because you're in confusion. So what does confusion, confused, to be confused mean again? Y'all forgot? Confused. What does it mean to be confused? Unable to think clearly, to think straight. Whole thought process is skewed. Do we have sound?
Really? I said, yes, I am. He said, you know what?
Rewind it.
I was scared to let you know, too. I am, too. He was, too, falling in love with me, with his mom, and I was falling in love with my son. And then we ended up talking, and we took off to the park.
This
Well,
is
I
the,
told him it was,
hold it.
at first
This
I
is the
told
wine
Card-
right here. She is drunk. Go ahead, play it.
Well, I told him it was, at first I told Carlos that, I'm sorry, I don't know how you're going to react to this. I'm your mom, and you're my son, and I am falling in love with him. He said, are you really? I said, yes, I am. He said, you know what? I was scared to let you know, too. I am, too. He was, too, falling in love with me, with his mom, and I was falling in love with my son. And then we ended up talking, and we took off to the park, and we ended up asked him, will you ever date your mom? And he said, will you date your son? I said, honest truth, yes, I would. Because 19 years, you're the best thing that ever happened to me, and I really want to be with you the rest of my life.
Stop it, Art.
And I really want to be with them. It's kind of hard right now, but I don't care what people say, because we're going through a lot right now. We try to keep it secret.
That's wine. Sicker, her whole inhibition is gone. You got on here and let somebody film you say that. It's sick enough that you did it, but you got on here and let somebody film you and talk about it. Her senses is completely skewed. She is drunk to the maximum. She's spiritually vomiting. The church teach something about I'm drunk in what? I'm drunk in the spirit. So if I'm physically drunk, will you get in the car and ride with me and you see that I'm drunk? So spiritually, why would you ride with somebody that you see is spiritually drunk? But the church always talking about this. We are drunk in the spirit. Now, when you drunk, it says something happened with your speech. What happens with your speech? It's slurred, but what's another word for that? Confusing is, but it's, what is it? You would be babbling. It's a whole group of people think that this is okay, but this is showing that you were drunk in the spirit. You were drinking her wine. Play the next video, Art. Can you get back to the inbox? I guess you gotta go back to the inbox. So she's done this unthinkable act, and you thought it was okay to come out and let the news film you talk about it. And the reason you don't have any shame is because you drunk. When you drunk, you don't have shame no more. You do and say whatever comes to mind. If you can't get it, we'll just go without it.
Searching for a new fort? The search is over at Village Fort. Right now, you can lease a 2023.
You don't got it on
Yeah,
the screen, though.
The rules were clear.
Do you believe there's a difference?
Have them put it up on the screen. Now, look at this black woman. She would be in Daniel's position. She's the best of the best and the brightest of the bright. Right? Go ahead,
Yeah,
play
I'm
it.
gonna try again.
The rules were clear.
Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? It's a yes/no question. Do you believe there's a difference?
Oh, I think that we're talking about this case with the NCAA.
No, I'm asking a question. Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? Most people could answer this very simply. I'm curious if you're willing to do so. Title IX was a landmark civil rights law. It helped create the incredible breadth of women's sports and girls' sports that we see across the country. I believe in girls' sports. I believe in women's sports. I'm the proud father of 2 daughters who are both athletes. I think participating in competitive sports is a wonderful thing for a young girl. I think it is a wonderful thing for a woman. And I think, unfortunately, today's Democrat Party has decided that women's sports and girls' sports no longer matters. And they're willing to push radical legislation designed to destroy girls' sports and women's sports. Ms. Gaines, I want to thank you for your courage. You are relatively young, but you have demonstrated incredible courage. And because you have dared to speak up, you have been demonized, you have been vilified. I saw when you were attacked by a leftist mob at San Francisco State University for daring to speak up. You had an incredible record as a swimmer at the University of Kentucky. You were a 2-time NCAA All-American. You were a 5-time SEC champion. You're an SEC record holder and a 2-time Olympic trial qualifier. But yet on March 27th, 2022, something changed. What happened on March 17th, 2022?
That's when Thomas and I raced in the 200 freestyle and again resulted in a tie.
And so you tied. What was the
I want y'all to
consequence?
see that
We
this
went behind the awards
question
podium where typically
that
you're
he's
going
gonna
to
ask
the
black woman is elementary.
And the official looks at
Super
Thomas
simple.
and myself and says, "Great job, but you guys tied. And we only have one trophy, therefore we're giving this trophy to Leah." And I question this, and I say, why?
Leah is a man.
At first, I shortened it in my testimony, but really he stumbled on his words. He didn't know how to answer this. And at first he's, well, we're just doing this in chronological order. To which I further pressed, and I said, okay, well, what are you being chronological about? Because we tied. And if we're doing this off alphabetical order, G comes before T. So what are you being chronological about? To which this wasn't a script they had prepared for him. And he actually appreciated his honesty. He did say, we have to give the trophy for Leah because Leah has to have it for pictures. They've made that clear. Leah has to have the trophy for pictures. You can pose with this trophy, but you have to give yours back. You have to go home empty-handed. Leah Thomas takes the trophy home. End of story.
Now, let me ask you, as someone who's competed at the elite level, in your experience, is there a difference between women and men?
Of course. I think we learned this at a very young age, watching even 12 and unders play. Going through puberty causes irreversible advantage, that no matter the training, no matter the diet, no matter any alterable change you can make, will overcome that male advantage. Especially in sports like swimming, where lung capacity matters so much. Even something as silly as throat size, men have on average a 40% larger throat, which sounds like it's nothing, but when you're grasping for air, that 40% larger throat makes a huge difference in athletic success, not to mention height. You guys know the differences.
Ms. Robinson, do you agree with Ms. Gaines that there's a difference between women and men?
If the question is about trans women,
I'm just asking, is there a difference between women and men?
what I can say is that the NCAA has rules in place. They've had rules in place for the last decade, and when this competition
Okay, I'm
happened,
going to try again.
the rules were clear.
Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? It's a yes/no question. Do you believe there's a difference?
Oh, I think that we're talking about this case with the NCAA.
No, I'm asking a question. Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? Most people could answer this very simply. I'm curious if you're willing to do so.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just putting it into the context of the
Is that a yes?
conversation that we're having. I think that there are definitions related to
Is
sex.
Is
but
that
I
a
also
yes?
think
So I'm
that
trying to
when
get a yes or no. I'm not trying to.
What's wrong with this woman?
Oh,
Is there a difference between women and men?
I think that there are definitions for biological sex.
Okay, so you're
which
not
is
answering
different
that.
than
Let me
gender.
ask you this question then. Why do women's sports exist? If you can't define a difference between women and men, why not abolish women's sports and just tell little girls to swim with little boys and see who wins?
Oh, I'm simply saying that that sex
My
is different
question,
than gender.
why
and I do
do-
believe
why
that
do
women's
women's
sports
sports
have a great
exist?
value. I mean, Senator, I'll tell you right
Ms.
now.
Robinson, please answer the question I'm asking you.
Absolutely.
Why do women's sports exist?
I think that there are so many positive benefits to sports.
But
I mean,
why have a
we've talked
separate
about it
category
here
for
today.
women? If there's no difference between women and men, why to have women's sports?
I'm saying that there's a difference between sex and gender, and that the NCAA has rules in place.
didn't
that
ask you
have
none of
for the last
that.
decade
Mr. Chairman,
to
I
determine
would
that
like to enter into
related
the
to
record an
participation.
article from
Stop
Duke,
it,
Duke Law.
Go to the next one. As you can see, this is the simplest question in the world. Why can't she answer this? Why is she acting stupid? She's drunk. Exactly. This is the wine. This is what we have going on in the world right now. We acting like we can't tell the difference when this stuff is obvious. This is pictures of people being drunk, saying the most insane stuff that everybody knows. We can ask these children, what's the difference, and they know. But once you get indoctrinated with this foolishness, you come out and say this, and she's a teacher.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You go
Thanks.
out and teach. So what you think she's spreading? Let's have story time and drag queens come and read to the children. And you think it's okay. That's the wine of Babylon. Go ahead, play it up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to all of the witnesses for being here. I want to visit with you, Ms. Mansky, but before I do, I just want to clear one thing up. Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing them.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
Because of
for
my
us-
line of questioning? So
Because-
we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist
I'm
is
denying that trans
dangerous.
people exist by
Are
asking
you?
you if you're
Are
talking
you?
about women
Are you?
having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can
So
get
you are
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed?
This is a teacher.
Or are they also treated like this, where
No, no, no,
they're
they're
told
allowed
that
to
they're
question.
opening up people to
Oh,
violence?
we have a good
by
time in my
questioning?
class. You should join.
I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot
I
just in this
know,
exchange.
absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Yep.
Ms. Matsky, let me ask you something.
Stop it, Huck. Stop it. The simplest stuff. Can a man get pregnant? Well, yeah. Well, if he's a trans man, well, that's a woman. Just because you put the wig and lipstick on, you're still a. Oh my God. This is the wine. This is the stupidity. These people is drunk. Play that last one out. And both of these people, the one was a judge, and this one is a teacher. She is teaching people's children. That woman is teaching people's children. All the people supposed to went and got their kids out of there. She said, a man can have a baby.
If people with uteruses
the world is gone mad. Play it past the first second. Skip the first second, if you can. Yeah, skip the first second. Just scroll over to that little red line. Yeah, play it from right there.
liberation. And we're all fucking. And we're past the
Tried to hide that.
Now we're at
Forgive me, y'all.
float, and they are making the world's first. Thank God for abortion, a parade float. Thank God for abortion is something.
You see what this is saying?
Pain around.
Thank Yah for abortion.
Trampled. I started doing this hashtag abortion rights are queer rights because why haven't those intersected so much? Like it's just not talked about. That serves white supremacy. I'm a queer person. I've had 2 abortions, and that's part of the genesis of this. When I had my first abortion, I was like, this is not like what they said it was going to be. I didn't see my experience in the landscape of the conversation. I wanted to inject joy, and the joy is about autonomy. And autonomy is where we meet as a queer community. Like, that's what it's about. Like, I have a right to do what I want with this body. Being at Pride is important because queer people need abortion. Abortion access is a basic human right.
So they joined in with the Pride movement.
Out of these biological identifications, deconstructed identities. People have run up to me and hugged me and been like, thank you. There's a release, I think, that happens with the project, to see it out in the open, to see it joyfully claimed, and to have God in it. It's beautiful to also listen to other people's testimony of what happens to them. It provokes people into something, and that is good. This is a march in commemoration of independence from a police state, a break from subjugation. That's what we mean. Physical, personhood, autonomy. And that's where the joy comes in, that we celebrate our right. That I celebrate your right to have 20 abortions. I'll throw you a party. Or 0! It's a celebration. They're coming for all of us. They're here and they're coming for us. So can we be together just to let the right know that we're not going to stop fighting until everybody has that right?
That's good. So she is thanking Yah for abortions. Not actually Yah, her own God, but making it good, and they joined in with the Pride movement. These people are mad. Every one of them, they all mad. Everybody that was in these clips have gone mad. Something is wrong with your brain. Give me Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51, verse 6.
Jeremiah 51 and 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon.
Do what?
Flee out of the midst of Babylon.
Read.
And deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of Yahuwah's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon has been a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad.
They what?
The nations are
The
mad.
nations are mad. As you can see, every one of these people that we just showed, they mad. They out of their mind. They don't understand the basic, most simplest thing of life. They don't get it because they all drunk with the wine. They doing the unthinkable. She's bragging about having abortions and how freeing it is and how liberated she feels from having these things. That's because she's drunk with the wine of Babylon. They are mad. Genesis 39. Verse 1.
Genesis 39:1.
Remember, aggressive, feminine, but masculine spirit simultaneous. Read.
And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, brought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down there. And Yahuwah was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and was in the house of his master the Egyptian. And his master saw that Yahuwah was with him, and that Yahuwah made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house, and all that he had he put into his hand. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him an overseer in his house, and over all that he had, that Yahuwah blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessings of Yahuwah was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught what he had, save the bread which he did eat.
Now, what kind of man is Potiphar? If y'all can remember, what happened to Potiphar? Yes, he's a eunuch. That's the way to say it, Doc. He's a eunuch. So he is a eunuch. So what does he not do with his wife? Read on.
And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught what he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored.
And what does Potiphar have the power to do? To do what? And what else? He has the power to put you in jail, and he also has the power to kill you. Read.
And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, Lie with me.
Do what?
Lie with me.
Now, where are they at? They in that man's house. This woman is so bold, this man got the power to kill you. They didn't say, let's go out back. She's doing this in this man's house. Read.
But he refused, and said unto his master's wife, Behold, my master wrought not what is with me in the house, and he have committed all things into my hand. There is none greater in this house than I, neither hath he kept me back anything from me but you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against Elohim?
And sin against who?
A sin against Elohim.
Remember, ain't nobody in the house to see this, right? He should be able to get away with it because nobody's in there. What if Joseph had drank the wine? Would he now be the person that goes ahead and saves the entire world? He wouldn't be this. If he drank that wine, he would have failed his mission. And he would have been just like the other men that fell to this. Again, this is an aggressive, feminist spirit, but it's masculine. Read.
And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day,
How long?
day by day,
So she don't give up. She persistent. Every day she after him. Read.
that he hearkened not unto her, to lie by her, or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business.
So she's going to give it one last try. Read.
And there was none of the men of the house there within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, Lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand.
So she done went and ripped this man's garment off. Super aggressive like a man. She's doing something that's supposed to get her killed in the man's house. Read.
And he left his garment in his hand and fled and got him out. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she called upon the men of her house and spake unto them, saying, See, he has brought in a Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice.
So notice, she's not masculine no more. She done went back into the feminist mode. She went into victim mode as if he is doing something to her. That's this spirit. Read.
And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me, and fled and got him out. And she laid up his garment by her until his master came home. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant which you have brought unto us came unto me to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which he spake unto him, saying, After this manner did your servant do to me, that his wrath was kindled.
It was what?
His wrath was kindled.
So certainly he's about to kill this boy because you messed with his wife in his house. Read.
And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound.
Why didn't he kill Joseph? Why? It's more than that. He knows his wife. He know his wife. And he's a eunuch. So he can't do nothing with her. He know his wife is lying, but he got to save face. Because he got the power to kill him. Because if he really did this, he would have killed him. But he know his wife. So this woman is bringing in confusion with this same masculine spirit that's in Babylon. Genesis 11, verse 1.
Genesis 11 and 1. And the whole earth was of one speech, or was of one language and one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime they had for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the whole face of the earth, the face of the whole earth. And Yahuwah came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. And Yahuwah said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they began to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
Let them do what?
Let us confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
He said, let us confuse their languages. So right here, y'all put them in confusion. And in turn, after this, their goal is to put the whole world in confusion. So y'all confuse them, and their goal now is to put everybody into confusion. Confusion by mixing, to make you not understand and to drink from the wine of the cup, because you are confused into it. Get me Daniel chapter 4, verse 33.
Daniel 4:33. The same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men, and did eat grass as oxen.
So what has got Nebuchadnezzar driven from men? What's the sin that's got him driven from men? Pride, right? So pride turns a man into what? A beast, right? Read.
And he was driven from men, and did eat grass as oxen. And his body was wet with dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like bird's claws. And at the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up my eyes unto heaven, and my understanding returned unto me. And I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored him that lived forever, whose dominion is everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. And all the inhabitants of the earth were reputed as nothing, and he doeth according to his will in the army of heaven, and among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay his hand, or say unto him, what doest thou? At the same time my reason returned unto me, and the esteem of my kingdom, my honor and brightness returned unto me, and my counselors and my masters sought unto me, and I established in my kingdom an excellent majesty was added upon me. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven.
He did what?
Praise and extol and honor the King of heaven.
So Nebuchadnezzar has been humbled. He's now praising Yah and giving him props and saying that he is the greatest. Read.
All whose works are truth, and his ways judgment, and those that walk in pride.
That walk in what?
That walk in pride.
Read.
He is able to abase.
He is able to abase. So his son watched him do this whole thing. Daniel 5 verse 1.
5:1. Belshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000 of his masters.
He made what?
A great feast to 1,000 of his masters.
So his son has made a great feast to thousands of his masters. Read.
And drank wine before the 1,000.
He did what?
Drank wine before the 1,000.
What place are they in right now? They in Babylon. Babylon drinking wine. Read.
Belshazzar, whilst he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and the silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple.
Now, whose golden vessels is this that he went to get? This is Yah's stuff. Now, what would get him so amped up to say, you know what, these red cups, these plastic cups ain't good enough. The little solo cups that we get, this ain't good enough. What would make him say, go get Yah's glasses and cups? He drunk with something. Read.
Which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives and his concubines might drink therein. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of Elohim.
So what law did they just break? What is Babylon though? Confusion by mixing. What did he just mix? The holy and the profane. That's it. You just mixed them. Not supposed to do that. Read.
And they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of Elohim, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and his princes, his wives and concubines, drank in them. They drank wine and praised the Elohims of gold.
And while you drinking out of it, you doing idolatry. You doubling it. So when it says Babylon has fallen, it's in a double fallen state. Not just one fall, but it's double. You doubling it. Read.
And they drank wine and praised the Elohim of gold, of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone. In the same hour came forth fingers out of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace.
This is where they get the term, the handwriting is on the wall. It comes from this. Read.
And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him.
It was what?
Changed, and his thoughts troubled him.
But you was drunk. What does he happen to him all of a sudden? He just sobered up. Wait, it's a handwriting. Read on.
So that the joints of his loins were loosed, and his knees smote one against another.
His knees is knocking. He can't even walk. His knees is knocking. He's so terrified. You know why? Because you knew better. You knew what happened to your father. Read.
The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck.
Jump down to verse 13.
Verse 13. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spake and said unto Daniel, are you that Daniel which are of the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of Jewry? I have even heard of thee, that the spirit of the gods is in thee, and that the light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in you. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof.
Jump down to 17.
17. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, let your gifts be to yourself, and give your rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king, and make known to him the interpretation. O you king, the Most High Elohim gave Nebuchadnezzar your father a kingdom, and majesty, and glory, and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him, whom he would have slew, and whom he would have kept alive, and whom he would have set up, and whom he would have put down. But when his heart was lifted up, and his mind hardened in pride, he was disposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beast, and his dwelling was with the wild donkeys. They fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High Elohim ruled in the kingdom of men, and he was appointed over it whomsoever he will. And you, his son, O Belshazzar, has not humbled your heart.
Has not what?
Has not humbled your heart.
You saw what happened to your father, and you did worse. Read.
Though you know all this, but has lifted up yourself against the master of heaven, and have brought the vessels of his house before you, and you and your masters, your wives and your concubines have drunk wine in them, and you have praised the Elohims of silver and of gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which you see not, nor hear, nor know. And Elohim, in whose hand your breathe, in Elohim, whose hand your breath is, in whose all your ways have you not glorified. Then was part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written.
Jump down to verse 30.
Verse 30. In that night was Belshazzar the king of the Chaldeans slain, and Darius the Median was took the kingdom, being about 62 years old, or 2 years old.
So since he did this act, you act like you didn't know what happened with your father, and you did worse. So what's the wine of Babylon? What is it actually? Y'all don't know yet? It's that's what it does. It's a mingling of something, but it's something that causes you to lose your senses, to lose your mind. Nebuchadnezzar lost his mind. His son comes behind him and loses his mind. Let's go further. Go back, Revelation 17, 4 and 5.
Revelation 17 and 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints.
So what?
Drunken with the blood of the saints.
Read.
And with the blood of the martyrs of Yeshua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore did you marvel? I will tell you that the mystery of the woman and the beast that carried her, which have the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The beast that you saw, and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder.
Shall do what?
Those who dwell on the earth shall wonder.
They shall wonder. Again, what does it mean to wonder? It's taking you off the path. What takes you off the path in the first place? The wine, right? It takes you off the path. It makes you feel free. It's something that makes you feel free to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do. What is it? Pride. The cup has pride in it, and she spreads it all over the world and tells you, do whatever it is that you want to do. You are free to do it, so when you get drunk, all your inhibitions go away from you. Now you are able to do and live how you wanted to do. All the stuff that you were scared to do, the wine gives you the courage to do it. When you had a coward in school and people was bullying and pick on him, and then when he drink, what is he now ready to do? He ready to fight with anybody, and they call it what? Liquid something. Liquid courage, because it gave him the heart to do what he was afraid to do. When you drink this wine, it gives you the freedom and the ability to do whatever it is that you want to do. That's what it's telling you from the beginning. Satan's thing was, do as thou wilt. The wine makes you, it gives you the freedom to be able to do whatever it is that you're feeling. This is it. She has the pride in it, and it is an abomination, right? What does Proverbs 16 tell you? It says, 6 things do Yah hate. And he says, it is an abomination. And what's the first thing that he say? A proud look. It's the same thing. She has a cup. This wine gives you the freedom to be able to do whatever it is that you deem is right. Yah ain't the standard. You do whatever you feel. Like these people, they are drunk. They make no sense. 2 Kings 9 and 30. We almost there. 2 Kings 9 and 30.
2 Kings 9 and 30. And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face.
She did what?
She painted her face.
So why is she painting her face? She know that she about to actually get killed. But instead of humbling down, she paints her face. Read.
She painted her face and tied her head and looked out at the window.
So she put on her fair mitre, but she painted her face. Read.
And as Jehu entered in at the gate, she said,
It says, Babylon has fallen, right? Read.
she said, had Zimri peace, who slew his master? And he lifted up his face to the window and said, who is on my side? Who? And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs. And he said, throw her down.
Do what?
Throw her down.
Throw her down. Read.
So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horses.
So what has Babylon just did right here? Babylon has fallen, She is the prototype of it. Her spirit, which is to do whatever it is you feel. I don't care about that man being innocent. Kill him and take his farm. A feminine, masculine spirit all rolled up into one. Read.
And some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horses, and he trode her underfoot. And when he was come in, he did eat and drink, and said, go, see now that this cursed woman.
That this what woman?
This cursed woman.
Read.
And bury her, for she is a king's daughter. And they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull.
They found what?
No more of her than the skull.
So she been trampled and eaten by the dogs. Read.
And the feet and the palms of her hand. Wherefore they came again and told him. And he said, this is the word of Yahuwah, which he spake by the servant Elijah the Tishbite.
So she died a terrible death. Again, how does she spread this wine? She uses flattering words, things to get you off course. The physical wine mixed with the spiritual wine, and it throws your senses off, causes you to be drunk, and it causes you to wander out of the way. Revelation 16:13.
Revelation 16:13. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles which go forth unto the kings of the earth.
So it says, I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs. What's with the frogs? Why the frogs? They jump, but what is their weapon? Their tongue is the weapon. It's like a hand. So it says that she uses flattering words to catch her prey. This frog is showing you this action. It's using its tongue to catch its victims. The same way she's doing when it says she uses the flattering words as wine. It makes the young man feel great. She pull him forth because she's aggressive. So these flattering words is like a frog. He's giving you this comparison. So these 3 spirits come out like frogs, working that which is unrighteous, and it snaring people, right? So all of these different movements, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Judaism, the fraternities, all of them are part of the wine. Guess what else is a part of the wine? Take a guess. What is it? The groups, the camps, they are part of the wine as well. They are doing the same work. You are spreading the same nonsense out here as well. It's all a part of it. They all are spreading the wine of Babylon to everybody. Deuteronomy 13, verse 1.
Deuteronomy 13:1. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and give thee a sign or a wonder, and that sign or wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto you, saying, let us go after other Elohim, which you have not known, and let us serve them. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet, or that dreamer of dreams, For Yahuwah your Elohim prove you to know whether or not you love Yahuwah your Elohim.
To do what?
Prove you to know whether or not you love your Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul. And you shall walk after Yahuwah your Elohim.
You shall do what?
You shall walk after Yahuwah your Elohim.
So you got to walk after him. For what if you intoxicated with the wine? You're going to go off the path from which he is walking. So when y'all look at you, how does he know who is his? They what? This person is sober. The drunkards who have drunk from the wine has already wandered off the path and got off. So it's obvious who has been drinking the wine of Babylon, because you're not in the path anymore. Have y'all ever heard of a man named Jim Jones? Old thing from back in the 70s. I was about 6 or 7 years old, right? What do y'all know about Jim Jones? Not the rapper with Cameron and them. He had a what? He had a church. He made a drink, and he made, what is it, about 700-800 people drink this stuff, and they all died from the wrath of this man's fornication. He confused these people and caused them to drink to their death, and anybody that caught on and tried to escape and figured it out, I'm not drinking that wine, he had them shot and executed. The wine, he made them drink this stuff and made them kill themselves. Romans chapter 3, verse 9.
Romans 3:9.
So I was wondering, why would these people have the bravery to be able to say the stuff that they're saying? Why would Marilyn Manson them have the guts and the gall to be able to rip the Bible up and bite it and chew on it, spit on it, and talk like they do to y'all? What would make these people do this? When you drunk, that's liquid courage. You don't care. Read.
What then? Are we better than they? No, in this wise. For we have before proved, both Jews and Gentiles, that they were all under sin. As it is written, there is none righteous, no, not one. There is none that understand. There is none that seek after Elohim. They are all gone out of the way. They are together become unprofitable. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Their throat is an open sepulchre. With their tongues, and they have used deceit. The poison of asp is under their lips, whose mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. Their feet are swift to shed blood. Destruction and misery are in their ways, and the way of peace have they not known. There is no fear of Elohim before their eyes.
There's what?
There is no fear of Elohim before their eyes.
They don't have any fear of Yah. This is why they can get on these things and talk like this and say the stuff that they saying to him. They don't have any fear of him. Last verse, Isaiah 29:9.
Isaiah 29:9. Stay yourselves and wonder.
Do what?
Stay yourselves and wonder.
Stay yourselves and wonder. Read.
Cry you out and cry. They are drunken.
They are what?
They are drunken.
Read.
But not with wine.
But not with what?
Not with wine.
Read.
They stagger, but not with strong drink.
But not with what?
Not with strong drink.
So what is this that they are drunk from It's not the physical wine, it's this spiritual stuff that is talking about. Read.
For Yahuwah have poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers have he covered. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned.
That is what?
That is learned.
He's supposed to be learned. Read.
Saying, read this, I pray you. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed.
For it is what?
For it is sealed.
So this man is supposed to be learned, but notice the simple stuff, he don't know it. These people on this screen, that lady, one was a judge and one was a teacher. And the simplest stuff, because they was on the wine, they couldn't answer it. Can a man get pregnant? Yes, man can get pregnant. You're a dummy. You know better than that. But the wine got you saying this stuff. The other woman is not afraid to come out and say, I'm having a relationship with my son. What's the difference between a man and a woman? I mean, well, I asked you, what's the difference? Is there a difference between a man and a woman? Well, I want a yes or a no. Is there a difference between a man and a woman? They can't answer it. This is the wine. So when you see the strangest stuff in the world happening before your face and it makes you bewildered and be like, oh my God, what's wrong with these people? Know that they are on the wine of Babylon. And with that, this court is adjourned.
Hallelujah.
Questions? No questions? It's clear? Nothing on the chat?
Yeah, one on the chat. What do you think happened that allowed this Jezebel spirit to run this world?
Adam and Eve partook in it, and it spread all the way from them. And then every generation after this, it keeps going because they get the Daniel out of the group, and he comes along and teaches it to the rest of the people. This is how you keep spreading it down throughout the world, because they get the best of the best, and they teach him. He comes out, and he teaches to everybody else that looks like him. That's how it's perpetuated. That's it? All right.
Got a couple announcements.
Hold on. I got something. Most deaf. So again, when you see the strange stuff, know that them people is drunk on the wine. Go ahead, Art.
Well, he said something about the related to what he was just talking about. Another movie y'all should check out Sound of Freedom.
Sounds of Freedom. I've been promoting it.
Which was just going a little bit of what you were talking about. That's a good one to check out.
Yeah, I've been promoting that for the last week.
Oprah Winfrey was another prime example. She believed she was her own God. If you watched all her shows back in the day, what did she do? She believed she would just give everything to you to keep you, I'm saying,
Docile.
filled up her fuel. Keep you going towards her direction.
Right. Absolutely.
And just like music, sign a contract, throw some money up front, you ain't never had it, keep it coming back. Now we get indulged, we get turned into indulged and be converted into doing whatever you never would try to do against your morals.
Exactly. It's going to dangle his success in front of everybody else. So once you see him, oh, I can do it too. You know he had to sit on that couch, a.k.a. the wine. Now are you willing to do that? And a lot of people willing to do it.
Social media.
Yep. Drunk from the wine.
And that's funny that you showed that video. I watched that when she was on there. And Ted Cruz, he been fighting against a lot of these things. He always gets somebody. I argue that they do that on purpose to get him to lose his cool. But he don't never fall for it. He stay confident the whole time. And they don't like that. He always gets somebody like that throw at him.
Because I don't vote, period. But the Democratic Party, it is the most demonic set of people in the world. The stuff that they believe and that they push, they are the ones that's pushing all of this stuff. The Republicans, they got their flaws and whatnot. I don't vote, period. But the leftist Democratic side, man, you have to be, you got to be drunk to vote for that stuff.
Well, we were Democrats. I mean, we was actually Republicans is where we was at one point. I don't know. I can't even call it shift change, but we started going Democrat more.
Lace up.
Yeah. Yeah. You got some, Mark? Yeah.
Free stuff.
Great State of Jones will tell you about the Republicans was blacks.
Yeah.
In our history.
So when you go to the polls, it's the thing that says, vote Democratic, blank. You sign this one and you, all of them. You do, man, the Democratic side, demonic to the core.
They give you free stuff.
One thing that people fail to do is they have what they call a platform. And a lot of blacks don't even realize that. They tell you when they get in power office, this is their agenda. Watch the platform. And on their platform last time, they put legal immigrants, LGBT. They told them what they're going to do. When they get in office, they're doing it. So don't be surprised when they tell you.
Right.
They're going to tell you, always watch the platform, get the personalities, follow the policies. Second thing is, in Romans' first chapter, he breaks it all down, kind of example, but it talks about people suppressing the truth, becoming wise in their own eyes, become fools.
Absolutely. That's what wine do to you. You think you know everything and you ain't doing nothing but babbling.
Trading the natural for the unnatural. It talks about it in the first room.
Yep. Absolutely.
Another thing is to, like, you can watch a movie because it's considered fictional. Discernment will tell you, well, that's related a little too bit to the good book right there. Well, that right there actually happened 2 weeks ago. Well, it was a full moon the other night, and they say this and this. And you get up the next day and you see a bunch of chaotic stuff going on. I'm not saying that it's all factual, but it all ties into certain things. And you got agendas that will throw you off from belief, and then there's facts that will throw you off from delusion.
Absolutely. That's what it's doing. It's confusing you.
That's why I cut off hanging in the streets. That's why I cut off going to every event. I don't want to be the center of attention. I don't need all that to be. I can sit in the background and be knowing everything and be just as fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's confusion. It's meant to confuse you, to throw you off. It takes your discernment away from you. This is why we can't discern, because you drunk. You can't tell what's good and bad. Babylon was right there in the garden, good and evil. Eve all of a sudden looked at that tree, and she couldn't see that it's good and evil in this tree. It all looked the same. She was confused because Satan just confused her with this. She couldn't make the difference out. And this is what's happening right now, and we can't make the difference out between good and evil, what's right and what's wrong, because the whole world is drunk.
That being said, it's very important that those who are studying, those who see what's going on, please get some teenagers to start teaching them the truth. Parents, as we confused, these kids are definitely confused. They on the internet, get even more confused. So teach your kids, train them at home like you're supposed to. Not the church responsibility, not the school responsibility, it's the parents' responsibility to train up the child.
Yep, because they are in the world. We just can't have them of it. So every opportunity, this is what I do with mine, especially with Nasi and Yuri, because they smaller. Every opportunity that I get, when some of this foolishness around, whether it's in real life or it's on TV or whatever it be, I stop and break it down to them. Look, this is what's wrong with that. And I asked Yuri, what's wrong with that? So we had a video up last night. It was I forget I think the man's name was Vadi or Bodhi or something like that. And he was talking about homosexuality, and it had on the bottom of the screen, it had Joel Osteen, T.D. Jakes, oh man, and it was 5 or 6 more of them, and they asked, was homosexuality wrong and a sin? And they asked all of them, and Joel Osteen said, well, yeah, I believe it is a sin, but I don't get into all that stuff. You know, my message is to uplift people, and, you know, I just want to uplift, and I don't want to talk about all that stuff, you know. So the lady said, so when you says that it's wrong, and you're saying that 45,000 people in your assembly, that are, some of those are gay, or you're telling them that they are sinners? I mean, yeah, but I really don't get into that stuff, you know. I mean, I talk, I uplift people. That's what my message is. And T.D. Jakes, well, no, you know, you can't do this, you know. God loves the homosexuals and the gays. And you spreading the wine. You spreading the wine. So my daughter was in there watching, and she say, Daddy, what is sin? What is it? And I break the whole thing down to her in the simplest form of what it is. I made her get up. I say, go up and touch the TV. I said, touch that first one. I said, he's a liar. He's tricking you. He's telling you that God ain't mad at you if you be this way. Touch the next one. He mad at that man. Touch the next one. He mad at him because he lying and saying that this is okay. And then I say, touch the last one. I say, he the only one that's telling the truth in this. All the rest of these people on this panel is telling a lie. She was like, oh, okay, I see. So you got to do this every opportunity because it's prevalent. Especially if you're going to send your kid off to college. Because there's something waiting for them. If you ain't already equipped them, because they not around you no more, and what's going to stop them from taking a cup and dipping it in that punch? You good, Huck?
Last month was the Pride Month, the LGBT Pride Month. There's a video going out. They said we're queer, we're here, we're coming after your kids. They let the world know they're coming after kids.
Absolutely. We played that video 2 weeks ago when I was up here again. We played that exactly. It's bold with it. We ain't afraid to say it no more. We out of the closet with it. We have no shame because we drunk. Drunks don't have shame. Hey, you've been gone for a minute, so you get him in. Get it in, Huck. Pick it up at Romans 1:26. I know exactly what you're talking about. And we went over that 2 weeks ago because we was talking about that same exact thing. You can't tolerate it. It says that, and they tolerated that woman. This mean that you were okay with it. Some of us is okay with it because we find out that such and such in our family is doing it. So, not my favorite cousin. No. If your favorite cousin keep this behavior up, it's a place waiting. Go ahead.
Romans 1:22. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools.
They became what?
They became fools.
That school teacher is a fool. She's supposed to be teaching, but she is a blatant idiot. Read.
And changed the esteem of the uncorruptible Elohim into an image made like unto corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. Wherefore Elohim also gave them up to uncleanliness through the lust of their own hearts.
To what?
Through the lust of their own hearts.
Through the lust of their own heart, they pride. Read.
To dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Who changed the truth of Elohim into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. So be it. For this cause Elohim gave them up unto vile affections.
He gave them up to what?
Up to vile affections.
In Thessalonians, he says, since you refuse to believe the truth, I will give you unto strong delusions that you will believe the lie. Not a lie, the lie. This is what is taking place. Read.
For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
Against what?
Which is against nature.
Nobody don't even have to teach you this. This don't have to be written in a book. It's already encoded inside of you to know that this is how it's supposed to be. Read.
And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned into their lust one towards another, men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meet. And even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge.
Like to do what?
Retain Elohim in their knowledge.
This mean that you knew it. Read.
Elohim gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit.
All of this is in that cup that she has. This is all part of the mixed wine that she has. Everything that he's reading. And then there's something in there that seemed like it shouldn't go. It says debate. How is that in there with all this stuff? But that's in there as well. Read.
Full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters.
Whisperers. What is somebody doing when they whispering? You gossiping. That's why you saying it low, because you know you shouldn't be saying it in the first place. Read.
Backbiters, haters of Elohim, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection.
Without what?
Natural affection.
Without natural affection. That woman is having a relationship with her son. That's not natural. That's debauchery. You got to be all the way drunk to do that. And they come out on TV and talk about it. Oh, well, my kids, they didn't like it at first, but now they kind of like it. What? Read.
Implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of Elohim.
Who knowing what?
Knowing the judgment of Elohim.
They know the judgment of Yah. It's like that woman that's at the pride parade. She had the big sign. She was holding it up. She says, I'm going to hell and I'm proud of it. So you know what you're doing is wrong. And you made a sign to proclaim it. Read.
That they which commit such things are worthy of death.
Worthy of what?
Worthy of death.
They are worthy of death.
Not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do it.
That do what?
But have pleasure in them that do them.
So even if you ain't doing it, if you approve of it, you might as well do it. That's what he's saying. So if you find out that your brother is this or your sister is this, you can't approve of it and go along with it. Well, he's just gonna have to get me because I'm gonna love my such and such. That's cool that you love him, but you better not approve of it. Ain't nowhere in the world I'm going. Ain't no way. Because you're supposed to be sick from just the thought of it. Ain't no way I'm going to participate in it. Yep, I will not be there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So everything that happens in that cartoon and in the show The Flash, what happened that when the particles, they say they got the God particle, they figured out, they got dark matter, and now this whole thing is designed so they can stand right in front of us right now. If you watch the movie Something in the Mist, they was doing it in the movie. They wanted to rip a line in reality where they could just step through, like right here we talking, somebody go like this cut a line and go from that's what the device is for. It's a gateway to hell. Yeah.
Snyder, what is the biggest evil invention that there is?
The internet.
Say it again. Tell a vision. So most of the evil is very, see how slick it is? We think about the collider But that thing is in your house, coming directly in there. Exactly. And it's the one that's promoting the wine the most. It and the school system is promoting the wine the most. It's telling you the vision. It's showing on there the Muppet babies. You say, oh, Gonzo, you missed the biggest parade ever. Oh, my God, you missed it. And then Gonzo say, I got something to tell you. I'm Gonzarella. And they put him a dress on and says, I didn't want to tell you, but I'm the princess. That's what's pushing the stuff. The internet is an extension of it. That's going. The TV, it is the idiot box. It is pushing the wine. And the school system, that's why they get the Daniel and they get him and he come back and teach it. So we got people at school with story time and they got drag queens in here naked in front of these babies and these kids and these women and think this is okay to do. If a regular man did this, they would lock him under the jail. But because he put this stuff on, oh, this is harmless entertainment. This doesn't mean anything. He has a right. And then I meant to do this video. They had 4 old men. And they asked them, they said, what is your sexuality? And the first old man says, well, I'm gay. And then the other one says, well, I like men. I like men. That's what I like. And then the third one was the out cold one. He says, well, I like men and boys. And the black man was up there with him and he says, I'm just speechless. And you could tell he was on the wine as well. He said, I'm just speechless off what he just says. And then they showed a little boy about 7 years old. He did the splits in the room. And at first he says, at first I didn't know how to do the splits, but now I know how to do the splits. And he did the splits. And the 3 old men was like, ooh, why they ain't locked up? R. Kelly locked up, right? Why they ain't got these men locked up? Oh, because they've attached it to the movement and making it all right. Everybody got the right to love. This is the push with it. So if this 70-year-old man say, I identify as a 5-year-old, I should be able to have a relationship with him. And you shouldn't be able to say nothing to me about it. Because I feel like I'm pretty today, I should be able to go into the girls' bathroom with them. And if they start screaming, what's wrong with y'all? I'm a woman just like you. And we got people on TV, senators, who are confirming this. Well, yes, if he feels like a woman, he is a woman. He's just a trans woman. And gender, there is no gender. So why are you a transgender? Why do you have to leave from something to something if it ain't no difference? We in the sickest time in the world, y'all. The times we in right now is the sickest times in the world because we are in Babylon before the flood and Sodom and Gomorrah after it. But it's all intertwined right now. We in the sickest of times that it is. And if we ain't careful, our baby's going to fall right into it. Like the ox says, teach as many people as that will listen to you so they don't continue to drink the wine and go down that path because the whore got a bad place that it's going to end up at. And she is forcing her wine on everybody that will drink it. Yeah, we're in a bad place in this world right now. Ain't nothing else on there, Nate?
No, that was it. Somebody said, do we have a lesson about fasting? Somebody said they wanted to know about fasting, but I can't think of one that I saw.
Fasting.
Yes.
Stop eating. Nah. Ease yourself into the fasting thing. Stop eating at a certain time, about 7 o'clock, and within 3 days, and don't eat before 12. In about 3 days of doing it, you might have the slight headache, and then it'll go away. And then you can start doing it easier and easier. The ox from Maryland can go for like a week straight without eating. Shout out to my Maryland ox. They can do it for the longest. So, but you got to ease into it. And if you do this, this is what I do. It's intermittent fasting. If you do this, you can ease yourself into it. The cold turkey thing is, you know, you can do that, but it's going to hurt you. And I don't know, one of us might have done a lesson on fasting. It wasn't me, though. So, is that it?
That's all the questions. Just the announcements. The pop-up shop that was scheduled for tomorrow has been postponed. We're going to shoot for another day, probably in September. We will let you know. You can always, if you're a vendor, continue to reach out to Sister Shanice, and we'll be let you know more about it as the date comes closer. The Hebrew Gathering is again on August 11th through the 13th. Please give your monies in as soon as possible for registration. The registration information is on the Facebook page. It's also in our group chat. Let me see what else. T-shirts for the gathering. That really was supposed to be over yesterday, but if you're still looking, let me know. But today is the last day. So today is the last day for that. So if you have not put your shirt order in, please put your order in to send your money to Chosen Tees. When you go to the registration link, you can put it in there, but you pay for that Chosen Tees. Today is the last day. If you don't put it in today, you probably will not get a shirt for the gathering. Sukkot is also coming up. The fees are $175 per adult. They're also due on August 13th, which is also the last day of the gathering. So if you're planning on coming, please plan accordingly. This feast day is coming up appropriately. So plan accordingly. Again, that link is also on the Facebook page. It's also in the group. We'll put it back in there today. Also, if you're looking for fringes, make sure on your shirts, go back to that. Make sure that you indicate that. The people that are doing the fringes, Sister Joshua and Sister Shanice, they're not going to be doing them last minute like we have been, like the first night of the gathering or at the park. They're not going to be doing that. So you have to put your order in now and indicate that you want the fringes on them. Otherwise, you will not have them. And I think that is it.
We go.
Oh. Be saying tomorrow, I guess, that makes sense since today is Sabbath. He's going to extend it to tomorrow for the shirt. But that will be the absolute last day. Hold on. I'll let you know. I'll tell you. And I think that should be it. I'll give it to you. I can send the link to you personally. Yeah. All right. We're going to pray. We're going to pray. We're going to pray. Pray out. Pray out. We're going to pray. We're going to pray.
We're going to pray.
We're going to pray.
We're going to pray.
Pray out.
Pray out. Pray out.
Pray out. All minds are clear. Yahuwah, Father, we give you praise and esteem today. We thank you for the word, Father. We thank you, Father, that we have belief in you, Father, that you are able to present us faultless before the great one. Father, we ask you to continue to allow us to walk straight on the right path, Father, to make right decisions, Father, to teach our children the right things, Father, keep them safe from the maniacs and cretins of our day, Father. Keep us covered, Father. We ask you to be with those who are away from us today. Allow them to return safely, Father. We ask you to continue to allow us to come back at the appointed time, continue to touch those, again, who are sick, those who are depressed, those who are going through things financially and spiritually and physically, Father. We know that you're able to do it, Father. We trust in you through your Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Father, we just thank you for this day. We ask you to make this food that we are about to eat nourishment for our body, Father. Continue to allow us to have a good fellowship as we close out your Sabbath day. All these things we give thanks and praise in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. So be it.
Abinu Shabbat Shemayim, Ikadosh, Shenka, Tabo, Malkuka, Yease, Rasonka, Baretz, Kashir, Nasha, Bashamayim, Tain Lanu, Hayom, Lakim, Ikanu, Usla, Lanu, E, Ashmatenu, Kashir, Sukin, Anaknu, Lashir, Ashmu, Lanu, Wa'a, Tabinu, Lede, Mesa, Ki, I, Hasulanu, Mi, Hara, Ki, Haka, Hamamlaka, Wadi Bara, Wadi Fare, Ulame, Ulami. So be it.
Hallelujah. So with that.